Sister Leader, have you ever noticed how your surroundings affect your mood, energy, and your overall well being? Today, we're exploring how creating an harmonious environment that nourishes and inspires can play a powerful role in supporting your wellness journey. Welcome back to the Inspired Well Minded Woman podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Denise, your wellness mindset and resilience coach. And today we're diving into environmental wellness. Environmental wellness is about creating spaces at home, at work, or wherever you spend your time that uplifts, nourish, and supports your best self. But before we dive in, I'd love to invite you to take the free Well Minded Life self assessment. This assessment is designed to help you see where you stand on your wellness journey and identify areas, including your environment, that may need more attention. You'll find the link to the assessment in the show notes to get started. So let's start by understanding environmental wellness. Environmental wellness isn't just about having a clean home or a beautiful space. It's about creating surroundings that energize you, that reduces your stress, and aligns with the life you want to lead. Our environment influences our mindset, our productivity, and even our mental and physical health. Yep. Research has shows that people who feel connected to their surroundings experience a greater life satisfaction and reduce stress levels. And we all want lower stress levels. So when we're intentional about our spaces, we can create environments that nourish us mentally, emotionally, and physically. And as you can see, as I mentioned in previous episodes, how every pillar of wellness, of all the six pillars, every pillar of wellness intertwines with the another one, just as I explained here. So, Sister Leader, let me ask, do you sometimes feel weighed down when you walk into a cluttered or chaotic space? Maybe you have a room that's filled with things that you don't use, or your work area feels uninspiring and cramped. These spaces can drain your energy and add to stress and make it hard for you to focus on what really and truly matters. So let's get real here. Think about it for a moment. What area that you've been wanting to declutter and organize? Is it your closet that's filled with clothes that no longer fit you? But you keep shopping and adding more clothes to the clutter because you can't find anything to wear? Yep, I've been there. Is it your home office that also serves as a storage room for all the stuff that you no longer have room for in other areas in your house? Or maybe you think that if you hold on to these items, you'll find use for them one day again. Perhaps you like to decorate your home and every corner has things just in it, filled with things in it. And yes, they're cute things, but no, that's not how this should be done. And while it may have been our norm for a while, there's a better way to deal with your environment to make it more inspiring. You may call the things in your corners decor. And all it's doing, really, if you really think about it, is interrupting the flow of energy that you need to feel good and inspired in your surroundings. I've been there and I've done that too. I'm guilty. See, there was a time when my environment was cluttered and not well organized, and I could feel how it impacted my mindset and my productivity. I would come home and I would just feel, I couldn't feel completely at ease because it wasn't quite right, no matter what I tried. And believe me, I tried many things over the time to get it right for myself. But I realized that my space wasn't supporting the life that I wanted. It was actually holding me back and limiting my creativity, especially my office. And my office was a space that I spent a lot of time in. So once I started to declutter, I did feel better. And I did create a more uplifting environment, I felt lighter, more focused, but in full transparency, I couldn't get it done on my own. I tried. I promise I tried to declutter. I've given so much away. I've donated so much over the years, and I could never get it quite right. So I realized I needed help. And because I would keep going through this cycle, the different cycles of purges and doing drastic purges. In fact, I remember one time my closet was overflowing with shoes. I was a serious shoe horse back then. And at this time, I was going through a purge. I was just tired. I was just like, I'm tired of looking in my closet, can't find anything to wear. I'm tired of looking at all my shoes. Some of the stilettos are too high to wear anymore. And some of them really hurt my feet, even though they were cute. But I was just too much. And I was like, I'm tired of every time I'm looking for shoes, I'm going through like 20 boxes or 20 shoe boxes because sometimes I will take them out of the box I put them in and put them in clear boxes so I can see and find them easily. But I tell you, I was tired of it. And so I was I was at a point where I was so overwhelmed that I packed about 50 pair of high heels in a large bag and I called my sister friend. I said, "Come get them. Just come get them. I'm done. They're in a bag. They're ready to go. Just take them away from here." And luckily for me, she's the kind of sister friend who understood my plight. She understood that I go through these bouts of purges, these drastic purges. And she told me to just take a day and think about it. She wasn't going to come get the bag and take it to Goodwill. She wasn't going to come and get what she wanted. She just said, take the day to think it over. And actually, I'm glad that I did because those types of purges where it's high stress and I just want everything out of my space, is can be counterproductive for me. So, although I felt overwhelmed by all the stuff, I really needed to take inventory before giving it all away because what was going to happen was I was going to go buy more stuff. Can you relate? Can you relate to giving stuff away and then realizing you gave stuff away that you eventually needed because you didn't take the time to go to do inventory within your with your own stuff. But I got tired of that cycle. The cycle of shopping, store it, stuff in the closet still with tags on it. Maybe I'll use it, maybe I'll wear it, but it wasn't guaranteed. And then just to give it all away. That's not only, in my opinion, irresponsible, it's a poor use of my money. And it was madness. It was madness, but only I could come to that realization. And yes, I was a shopaholic. I admit it, if you couldn't already tell. But shopping then was therapy for me, but it was really just filling a void. And that's why I'm so passionate about embarking upon a wellness journey with you, because though filling voids never really fills the void. And then you're constantly searching for more things to fill the void. The void is always hungry. You can never fill it up to the point of satisfaction. So it's better to deal with your stuff, your internal stuff, and take time for personal growth and wellness so you can feel whole and find your purpose and thrive in your life. So for me, it didn't stop with clothes. My shopping also include home decor. I consider myself the home decor queen. Yes, I did. I had limited edition art. I love crowns. I had limited edition figurines and everything. And finally, I got rid of a lot of that stuff. I no longer consume my space with those items for good reason. But I loved it. I thought that there was always space in the home for more decor. And I knew in order for my space to be what I wanted it to be, that I needed professional help. And so I invested in a professional organizer who helped me really in my office. That was a space that was so stressful for me throughout the day that sometimes I would go into my office to work and to function. And if I wasn't dealing with clients, I would have such a creative block. And I would force myself to stay in that space that just didn't inspire me. So I hired a professional organizer to help me. And then later on, after I accomplished that task and worked very diligently to not clutter it up again, right? Because old habits are hard to break. Just because you work with an organizer to declutter, you have to also work with the mindset that comes along with having a space that inspires you and that's not full of clutter and just stuff piling up, papers or whatever, or books or whatever. I have a lot of books. I still buy books because I'm an avid reader. On top of that, I read a lot of personal growth books as well for my own journey, and I continue to pursue knowledge and be a life learner. So I have to pull the reins in on myself when I want to buy more books. Oh my goodness. I hope I'm not being too real here for you today, but that's the only way we grow is being open and transparent and sharing our highs, our lows, our struggles, and our wins. And so I hope this is encouraging you to do something in your own space. But let me continue. So after I hired the professional organizer to help me with my office, and I also asked for the help and support of a few friends who were kind enough, who said, feed me, we're there. And it was kind of like support and accountability, but they showed up and they helped me get through it. I'm so glad I did because the anxiety that I experienced with having to release things that were just there because I didn't know if I was going to need it or not was so helpful having that support to help them help me get past myself. And so later on, after dealing with the organizer, what I then did was I had the pleasure of meeting um, an interior designer who I later on hired as my interior designer. And that this particular interior designer, I interviewed many. I think this one was number 5. And I end up meeting this interior designer. And in speaking with him, he was really able to capture my vision. I didn't even think that I was being clear on what I wanted to create in my space. But when he, um, you know, shared with me what he heard and understood, I was like, yes, this is it. He gets it. He got me. This is my interior designer. And I didn't care what his fees were. I was going to pay his price because he was the 5th interior designer that I had hired and attempted to work with. And of all of the other, of all 5, he was the only one who captured my vision, saw and heard and understood what I needed instead of like the others who tried to, you know, bring their vision into my space, which wasn't my vision. And so I was so grateful to meet him. We're still working on projects today, but oh my goodness, what a change in working with him to create the look and the feel that I needed in my home for myself. I tried it on my own too many times, painting, shifting, changing paint colors and thinking and furniture and you know eliminating this item and putting in that item just to create a space I could never figure out on my own. And one of the worst feelings that you can have is being stressed out by all the clutter you have in your space. And so, sister leader, which environment do you feel the shift in when you walk into it? And when you walk into the space, is it a feeling of inspiration and calm? Or do you feel on edge and restless? Because if any of these spaces make you feel, if any of your spaces make you feel uneasy, where you cannot bring yourself to a complete level of relaxation and calm, maybe it's time to consider a change. Because when I made the decision to intentionally create a space that that brought me joy, I felt a profound transformation in how I felt about myself, my space, and the energy that just flowed through the environment. Oh my goodness. I literally felt the energy start flowing again. So I went from feeling drained to feeling uplifted every time I walked through the door. I created my space, my living space, like a getaway retreat that I would go and spend time in. It was more than just an investment in my space for me. In full transparency, it was an investment in my peace of mind and tranquility. I didn't know it at the time when I hired the interior designer, that that would be the result I was going to experience. But I knew that I didn't want to waste any more time. I'd spent years trying different things and I couldn't figure it out on my own. I've helped others in their space, but I just couldn't get it right for myself. And so I hired my interior designer to help me figure out what I wanted to do in my environment and to get it done in a timely manner. And I can tell you that the peace of mind that came for having someone help me sort through those thoughts and be patient with me to create the space that I wanted and to help me push my boundaries beyond the comfort zone of the typical color and decor that I thought would work. Oh my goodness. Now, of course, I encouraged them to push me beyond my comfort zone. I told them, do not allow me to limit myself. I had that conversation with him when we agreed that we were a good fit for each other. And I'm glad that I did, because I would have kept myself in a box if he solely just didn't, want to push me out my comfort zone, but I asked him to push me out of my comfort zone. I wanted to look, I wanted sophistication, I wanted to feel. He saw it, and I did not want to limit what he was able to do for me because I was afraid or wasn't sure, because the stress and the frustration of trying to do it on my own for years. So that was part of the agreement. And what an amazing turnout that my space turned out to be. So when you think about the intangibles of peace of mind and tranquility and the lack of and no stress, oh my goodness. To me, that's priceless. So you too can create an environment, sister leader, that supports your wellness, and it doesn't have to be complicated or overly expensive when you start out. Okay. So here are some small steps that you can take right now to make the shift in your own space. Number one, you can start to declutter. Both the organizer and working with the interior designer, they both said the same thing to me, is to declutter. Now with the organizer, the professional organizer, we worked on my office only. But I thought when I brought the interior designer in, I thought I was ready to go. See, so when he finally got here, he was like, "Oh, you need to declutter." I was I was like, "What? I need to declutter? I've already downsized." And it was like, no, it more needed to go. And I'm grateful for those moments and those conversations because in all of that, there's also a mindset shift. So start with one area that you feel overwhelming in and remove what doesn't serve you. All that stuff is not serving you. It's there because you bought it and maybe you had plans for it. Maybe you've outgrown it, or maybe it just doesn't fit anymore. But declutter, that's number one. That's what both the professionals recommended that I started with. And it wasn't until I decluttered that I was able to work with the interior designer. They cannot work in a cluttered space. Okay. Um, and so number two would be to add comfort. Add more, once you declutter, add comfort to your space. Now think about what makes you feel at ease and relaxed. Maybe you need a cozy chair in your space, maybe a chair that reclines or that comes with a footstool, maybe adding live plants to your space, to your home, or a soft, comfortable throw and blanket that you can use and then wrap yourself in to help you relax. Number three is you can incorporate some form of inspiration in your environment. Now, this may be the trickiest of them all because I caution you from adding too much, but add the things that you know that even if you worked with an interior designer, that you would want to keep no matter what. So you want to add to your surroundings things that inspire you, like a meaningful photo, maybe some limited edition artwork, or maybe just some art that really speaks to you. Okay. Or maybe you want to consider putting some affirmations on your wall. But make sure whatever you add to your space, that even if you work with a professional, you would want that incorporated in your design. So think long term when adding inspiration to your space. And remember, your space should reflect the life you want to live. So if it doesn't fit where you want to go, don't buy it. But think about what does. Even small changes can make a big difference in how you feel in your space. And if you feel you need more help, I recommend hiring the right interior designer to help you create the space that reflects where you want to go. That helps you minimize the stress and getting it done. And I tell you, it's been one of the best investments that I've made for myself and for my own environmental wellness. In fact, when I started um, putting all the information that I have created over the years from my wellness journey, the environment wasn't even on it in the way that it is now. There were things I talked about in setting the atmosphere over the years in your home. And yes, I talked about decluttering, but after working with the interior designer and seeing and feeling the impact that is made in my life, I have now enhanced that part of the program. And I'll tell anyone, make the investment, but make sure you have the right interior designer. I hope that in the future, I'll be able to have the interior designer here on this podcast with me to share some insights about environmental wellness and things that you can do to get started. I tell you, this is the interior designer that I recommend to whomever needs one. He is definitely worth the investment. I tell you, yes, yes, yes. So, sister leader, you deserve to live in a space that brings out the best of you, that inspires you, that relaxes you. So, I'd love to know what is one small change you're going to make to create a more uplifting space, whether in your home or at work. share it in the comments, and feel free to use the hashtag well-minded leader so we can connect and support each other on this journey to creating environments that nurture our best selves. And if you're really ready to prioritize your wellness journey by creating spaces that uplift and inspire, I invite you to join the Step into Your Best Self 30-day Walk to Wellness waitlist. This experience is designed to help you make lasting changes in all areas of your life, including your environments that support your well being. Whether you're looking to reduce stress, enhance productivity, or create a space of peace, this journey is for you. So let's take on our wellness together and let's level up. Let's level up together. Secure your spot on the wait list now through the link that will be in the show notes as well. And let's walk this path to our best selves. So, Sister Leader, I'll leave you with this. Environmental wellness is about creating spaces that support the person you are becoming. So remember, it's not about perfection nor doing it all at once. It's about creating a sanctuary that uplifts your spirit and calms your soul. I'm so honored to walk this journey with you. So be sure to join me next week as we continue this series and explore the final pillar of wellness. And as we continue to prioritize our wellness, less soar higher together.